Winter weather has arrived on the Palouse. It's volleyball in February from Pullman, Washington and Buller Gymnasium as the 22nd ranked Washington State University Cougars ready once again to take on the Colorado Buffaloes in what is the second matchup of two matchups this weekend between the Cougs and the Buffaloes. These two teams playing on Thursday afternoon, and a good four-set match that saw the Washington State University Cougars dominate the opening two sets, and then Colorado coming back to take the third. It looked like we were heading until 5 until the Cougs end up taking it in 4. And for the Colorado Buffaloes, again, 2-0 down to Washington State, but then they would get their defense going. Two of the better blocking teams in the Pac-12 Conference, and the Buffaloes would get it cranked up in that third set, and all of a sudden momentum had turned to the Buffaloes' favor. Colorado also jumping out to a pretty good-sized lead in what was the fourth set, but then that's when the Washington State University Cougars would come alive. Juliana Dalton would help lead the way for the Cougars all game long, but the Cougars, who were down 20-16, they went on a run, and as a matter of fact, they ended up scoring the final 6 points after they were down by a 22-19 count, and Juliana Dalton again leading the way there with that kill as the freshman, awfully good for the Washington State University Cougars. Again, the Buffaloes and the Cougars, you take a look at the opening two sets, Washington State dominated the stats. It was pretty even from that point forward, but with that, Washington State did lead the statistical numbers, 52 kills to 45, a couple more aces, and again, the top two blocking teams in the conference, Washington State won that category 14-8, and thanks to their efficiency in the opening two sets, they out-hit Colorado 240-126. Meanwhile, what sparked the Buffaloes to get back into it? Part of it was Leah Clayton making her season debut for the Colorado Buffaloes. She would come on late in the second set and help the Buffaloes really get things going, and also was a big factor in that third set as well. And Leah Clayton would lead the Colorado Buffaloes as she ended up not only with 13 kills, but also had a good hitting number as well for the Buffaloes, as she ended up hitting .355 as Leah Clayton, your leading player for Colorado yesterday. Meanwhile, for the Washington State University Cougars, how about their freshman, the Colorado native, Juliana Dalton? She would start to get hot for Washington State, and then she stayed hot. She got all the way up to 13 kills. She also had a couple of blocks as well for Washington State. There she goes up the line, and the Cougars, after again trailing in that four set, came all the way back to finish off the Buffaloes in 4. And with that, the Cougars take the opening game of what is two matchups between the Cougs and Buffaloes. Will the Buffaloes split the season series, or will Colorado take two from snowy Pullman, Washington? We'll find out next on Pac-12 Yes. Colorado Buffaloes and the Washington State University Cougars from Buller Gymnasium as the Colorado lineups. They have it announced. Again, the 22nd ranked Cougars taking on the Colorado Buffaloes from Buller Gymnasium here this morning and into this afternoon. And now time for us to take a look at your starting lineups for Colorado. Jenny Ewert will be the setter. Your middle blockers, Megan Hart and Rachel Farah. DeLuzio will be the libero today for Colorado. Meanwhile, the outside hitters of Leah Clayton and Jill Schneggenberger, they combined for what was 24 of the 45 kills for the Buffaloes yesterday. For the Washington State University Cougars, here's a look at their starters. Hannah Pukas will be your setter. Meanwhile, Penny Tusa will play the back row. May get some time up front as well. Talia Williams and also Magda Yahalashima will end up being middle blockers today. Tia Timmer, the outside hitter for the Cougars. Lusby will get the start. And Aria McCumber, again, the libero for the Washington State University Cougars. The Colorado head coach of the Buffaloes, Jesse Mahoney, as he is now into what was the fifth Colorado head coach, named that back in 2015, reached the Sweet 16 in 16. Meanwhile, for the Washington State University Cougars, there, of course, coached by Jen Greeny, has taken the Cougs to 4 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, and now into her 10th season here on the Palouse, the former Cougar player, now taking the Cougars back to heights that they were at when she was a player here at Buller Gymnasium in Pullman. With Colorado in the black tops and the white numerals, Leah Clayton, 13 kills, led the way with a .355 hitting percentage on what was Thursday afternoon. And the Cougars in their white uniforms, and we're getting things started with Penny Tusa at the service line as we officially get this one underway after the tweet of the whistle by Ben Goodwin. And this one gets started with that Tusa serve. To the outside and a cross-court kill immediately for the Buffaloes. And that was a cross-court kill for Starling Parker. And the Buffaloes are on the board early. It's 1-0 off the side out. Colorado got off to a slow start yesterday. You know, Jesse Mahoney would like his team to get off to a better start here on this Saturday, as again looking for the split while the Cougars trying to sweep the Buffaloes this season. And now Magda Yahalasheva will get the kill for Washington State, and that'll even things up at 1. And the sophomore from the Czech Republic going to head back to the service line now for the Cougars. One of the leading attackers when you get to hitting percentage in the conference. Very efficient from that middle blocker spot. Here comes the set outside for Clayton. That time blocked down by Alexis Lusby. Kalia Williams there as well for the Cougars. So the Cougars get their first block of the day. And it's Lusby and Kalia Williams teaming up for it. And they went outside to Clayton. Of course, Clayton leading the Buffaloes last time out in kills. And now an ace from Magda Yahalasheva. And the Cougars have scored 3 in a row. So a Magda kill, a Cougar block, and now Magda with an ace. Cougars so far this season with 46 aces. And for Magda, she has picked up her 5th of the season. Another one on the way, this time played by DeLuzio. Set to the middle and hammering it down for the Colorado Buffaloes that time is going to be Megan Hart. So Hart will pick up the kill. That will give her her first point of the day. And the Buffaloes will get the serve back, and heading back to the service line after she checks in will be Taylor DePross. So DePross now into the game and now serving. Junior from Reno, Nevada. We saw her at the service line yesterday, or I should say Thursday, and also plays the back row for the Buffaloes. Sets the middle this time, and Pia Timmer stationed herself there that time, and that's off of Buffalo and out of bounds, and Pia Timmer will pick up the next Cougar kill. And one thing we've seen with the Cougars this year, they have got no problem spreading the wealth. We've seen Magda with one, and now Pia with one. As another one of the super sophomores for the Cougars, Julia Norval now checking in to serve. Here comes the Ewert, sets the outside for Clayton, looking for the line, but missing it. And on the attacking end, a point to Washington State. So Colorado got the first point of this set, but since then the Cougs have scored 5 out of 6, and again, establishing some early momentum in this match. Luzio to Ewert, now from the back row at Schneggenberger. Tusa got a piece, then Tusa from the seat of her pants will knock it over. To the outside for Clayton for a tip. Getting a piece of it was Pukas. Now it's at the net. There will be a joust, and Pia trying to get to it, ends up in the net. So Timmer causing the net to move, and a net violation. That'll be a side out for the Buffaloes. Luget will check in. She's a sophomore for Jesse Mahoney's team out of Encinitas, California. And she gets ready to serve it away. There to play it will be McCumber. Timmer with the big swing, but partially blocked at the net by the Buffs. Now trying to dump it over will be Ewert. And the Cougs trying to keep it alive, but a double hit whistled on Kalia Williams. Ewert, no problems going on the attack at times from her setter position. As a matter of fact, picked up 4 kills on Thursday. Luget again in serving and playing the back row for the Buffaloes. Set to the outside this time for Kalia Williams, and Kalia will pick up the kill. So the first 3 kills to Washington State to 3 separate players. That one to Kalia Williams, one to the young lady at the service line right now, Pia Timmer, and the other to Magda, as Juliana Dalton, the freshman who led the Cougars with 13 kills, is checked in to play the front row. Timmer serve. Set outside for Clayton. That one's going to miss wide, and Clayton, who was efficient on Thursday for the Buffaloes in her first action of the season, logging 13 kills and hitting .355. Instead, today has not picked up a kill and has had 3 attacking errors in just 4 swings. 7-4 Washington State. Now it'll be Farrell from the right side, but a good dig by McCumber. There's a tip from Pia Timmer. And now Clayton lines up another one, tries to shove it to the sideline, but Timmer's there to cover it, and then it was a bad miss hit by Hannah Pukas that will give the Colorado Buffaloes the point. In to play the front row will come Alcantara. We saw her early yesterday and then not much of her late. Meanwhile, it will be Clayton back to the service line now for the Buffaloes. Norville with the pass to get the Cougar offense going. Dalton's attempt blocked back. The Cougars cover, and now Timmer with an attempt. To the outside for Alcantara, and she'll go up the line and pick up the kill. Alcantara had been doing a lot of that early on for the Buffaloes this season. And then it was Leah Clayton getting the bulk of the work yesterday for Colorado. So as you look at the outside, you obviously have Schneggenberger, Clayton, and Alcantara. So they've got a few players that can rack up some kills on their side as well. Now Timmer with a punishing blow, but dug out by Colorado and lofted over the net. Now Dalton lines one up. It's an overpass on the dig. So the Cougars back at it on the slide for Kalia Williams, and that time there will be no dig as Kalia Williams has that one eat up Deluzio up the sideline. So the point to Washington State, and it's now 8-6. So the Cougars up a couple as it will now be Kalia Williams' turn to serve for the Cougs. Out of Long Beach, California, into her second season with Washington State. Now Alcantara with a swing. Over for Dalton, who goes to the back row, but played well by Clayton. Alcantara with the tip, and the Cougars keep it alive. They'll bring it back in play, and a free ball for Colorado. Alcantara, another tip that the Cougars get a piece of and get a few flailing arms over, and then punched over by Juliana Dalton. Now a tip blocked back by Yahalasheva, and now it's the Buffaloes' turn to keep the play going. Dalton one more time, block back, and we play on him, the longest rally of the match. Timmer puts it away though for Washington State. That was some good stuff on both sides. Cougs on a couple of occasions keeping the play going. Then Colorado, right before the Cougars finished it off, scrambled to get one across the net. But then it was the Cougars able to win the point on a Pia Timmer kill. 9-6 Cougars here in the opening set from Pullman this morning. And our first service there. So back in to play the front row will go Megan Hart, and that means that libero Brunette Deluzio will head to the service line as Kalia Williams also checks out. McCumber will come in for her in the back row. Pukas to Yahalasheva. Good dig that time by the Buffaloes. Alcantara has that one blocked back by Pukas and Magda Yahalasheva at the net. And the Cougars yesterday, I keep saying yesterday, I apologize for that. You get the day in between. It was a matchup on what was Thursday here at Bullard Gymnasium. We're able to outblock the Buffaloes pretty handily. The Cougs ended up with what was a big advantage in that category. As a matter of fact, they outblocked the Buffaloes 16-8. But this time, no block, instead a kill for the Buffs, and that'll make it a 10-8 count. As the point picked up by Colorado to close to within one. That last kill going to Megan Hart, and now it'll be Jenny Ewert, the setter, to serve for the Buffaloes. There's Timmer. That one's going to miss. That's a little bit long from the back row, and Colorado closes to within one. Put the point up on the Cougar side. Did we have? Oh, we did have. I'm sorry. We had an infraction on the Buffalo, so the point does go to Washington State. So that means Tusa, our initial server, does make her way back in, and it's 11-8 Washington State. Saw the shot from Timmer miss, but there was something going on, perhaps a net violation on the Buffaloes. Now Tusa with the serve. Set comes outside for Schneggenberger, goes up the line for a kill of her own, and we got ourselves a pretty good opening set brewing here in the early stages as we approach the halfway point of set number one. It's 11-9 Washington State, and now Schneggenberger from Irvine, California. Here's the serve. Timmer to Pukas, setting up for Magda, who drops the hammer down. And that was a nice assist by Hannah Pukas, right in the wheelhouse of Magda Yahalasheva, who puts another one away. She's got a couple of kills and 3 swings to go along with a block and an ace, so a good start for the sophomore. Now it's Clayton in the front row, but she just hasn't quite found her rhythm yet. That one misses wide as well, so that's now 4 attacking errors and 6 swings for the transfer, Leah Clayton. And now the Cougars have opened up a 4-point lead at 13-9. Diving after that, serve in the back row, Schnegenberger, and this time it'll be missed along on the attempt from Sterling Parker. And after the Cougars score 3 in a row, they've got their biggest lead of the opening set, 14-9. And Jessie Mahoney gonna call the first time out. Again, opening set action from Bowler. Magda Yahalasheva off to a good start with a couple of kills, a block and an ace. And the Cougars off to a good start, leading 14-9 in Pullman. Well, 14-9, Washington State with a 5-point lead here. How about a couple of players who did well on Thursday? Magda Yahalasheva and Hannah Pukas filling up the stat sheet. 7 kills to go along with 5 blocks and 3 digs for Magda. Meanwhile, Pukas has been one of the better diggers this year in the conference. She finished with 13 for her setter position, but she can get it done at the net too. 6 kills and 4 blocks for the sophomore, and the Cougs out to a 14-9 lead in this one. Opening set action from Pullman today. Another sharp serve from Magda. Colorado will get it for Clayton. There to play at the OB2, so now Timmer from the outside, and that's a kill for Kia Timmer. So Timmer with now 4 opening set kills as the Cougs have scored 4 in a row. Meanwhile, also for Washington State, they've picked up a couple of kills apiece from Kalia and Magda. The Cougars now with what's 8 kills and only a couple of errors, hitting .316 on offense, but a service error will give the point to Colorado, and they'll get the serve back at 15-10. Magda, for that service error, some pretty good serves, but when you're going to have such good serves, every once in a while you're going to plunk one into the net as well. After a drink of water, she'll go join the rest of her teammates on the sideline. And now DeProst to serve for the Buffaloes. To the right this time for Lusby, and now Alexis Lusby will join the fray for the Cougars as she'll pick up her opening kill of the match. And again, what Hannah Pukas has done distributing the ball this season. And look at all 3 of those options up front. They're all good ones. Pia on the left, Kalia in the middle, and Lusby there on the right. And she started last weekend against UCLA to really heat up her season. And then when you have all those options, it makes it very difficult to game plan against the Cougars. Clayton going to pick up her first kill as she's able to tool that off a Cougar block attempt. So the point going to Colorado on Clayton's first kill of the day. And that means that the Buffaloes will get the serve, and it also means that Luget will hop off the bench and head back in. Norval with the pass. Pukas has to go over to the sideline for the set, and it's tipped over from the back row from Penny too. So Clayton trying it again, but the Cougars got a piece of it at the net. Now Kalia Williams has it blocked back by Leah Clayton. So the Cougs, who picked up the first 2 blocks in the set, answered back by Clayton going solo. Or was that Ewert? I'm sorry. No, it was Leah Clayton. My mistake. They just had switched spots on me for just a moment, and Clayton does get the solo block. And now the service error and a side out to the Cougars. So 5-point lead here for Washington State. Still some time for Colorado in this set, but it's certainly the Cougars that can play the side out game from here as Timmer to the service line, and that means the freshman Juliana Dalton back in to play the front row. There's her serve, there to go over and play at Luget. Clayton gives it an attempt off the carom. Dalton plays it, and now from the back row, Pia Timmer. That graze anybody on the way by? Don't think it did. It's not ruled that way, and it's a little bit long, so a point to the Buffaloes. Jen Greeny thinks maybe it might have grazed somebody, though. It looked like it might have taken a little deflection. That was a good long look from the officials to see if anybody had it, and that's what Jen's going to challenge you. So Jen Graney will have the challenge as again the Cougs and the Buffaloes playing here in Pullman. Cougs looking for the sweep to try and move to 6-2 in the conference, while the Buffaloes suffered their first conference loss in the match on Thursday. They're at 4-1. Meanwhile, the play under review and longtime veteran official, and for my money, perhaps the best official in this sport in this conference, Margie Ray, over to take a look at the video evidence. So she's going to take a look and see if she can find a touch, as she's getting all the different angles and wants to know what camera to use for what shot she wants to look at. Again, the Cougars sent it over and it ended up long, but I don't know, to me, it's just, and I didn't see a touch. I just thought I saw the ball kind of not necessarily carry, but just change direction just a little bit. But I might be wrong, and certainly Margie Ray's gotten a good look at it, and we'll come over and see whether or not she saw it. It was indeed touched by Colorado, so a very good challenge by Jen Graney, and the Cougars will get the point. So the point goes to the Cougars, so you take the point off the board for Colorado and give it to Washington State, and it's 18-12. And so with that, Pia Timmer will pick up her 5th kill, and a nice challenge there by Jen Graney. So a 6-point lead for Washington State. There's a serve by Timmer to the outside for Leah Clayton, who she's got a little more bounce to her step after an opening kill, and then that solo block really got her going. And this time she was able to get a good delivery from Ewert to the outside, and she just puts that one away. Dumber dove after it, but couldn't do anything with it. So a 5-point lead now for the Cougs. Pukas, this time to Juliana Dalton, and it's blocked back by Ewert and also Rachel Farrow. So the first couple of blocks to Washington State. Now the Buffaloes have answered back with a couple of blocks. The two best blocking teams in the conference coming into the week squaring off, and this time on the attempt, the Buffaloes were able to get the block after the kill from Clayton earlier. Backing up to play it, Timmer, but can't get off a good pass, so now Colorado with their first real true run. They've had back-to-back points before, but this is the first time in the set they've strung together 3 in a row, and they have cut the once 6-point Cougar lead in half. It's down to 3 now at 18-15. Timmer up for the challenge on that serve. Clea Williams is going to finish it off on a quick hitter right in the middle. So Kalia gets Washington State the 19th point. Of course, Kalia was playing on an outside hitter position last year for the Cougars when she was in there, and she has moved over to play a lot of the middle blocker position for the Cougars, and with that, obviously, a little bit of a learning curve, but Kalia's been a pretty quick learner for the Cougars. York tries to dump it and does find the sideline. It was close over there, but the officials had a good look at it, and they say that one in, and a kill for Jenny Ewert to once again bring the Buffaloes to within 3 at 19-16. Mobile to Pukas, and now Juliana Dalton. Now from the back row, Clayton. Cougars get to it, and Magda Hawashima missing the sideline, so 5 of the last 6 to the Buffaloes, and they've close to within 2. The last time they were this close, it was 12-10. The serve from Deluzio. Dumped over the net that time by Pukas. Pancaked up by Deluzio, and Clayton from the back row. Now it's Dalton with a punishing cross-court kill, and Juliana Dalton, who led the way with 13 a couple days ago, picks up her first kill. Again, the Colorado native out of Parker, Colorado, able to put that one away as Clayton unable to get to it. So a critical point there. Once again expands the Cougar lead out to 3, and it's 20-17. Outside for Alcantara, and a big stuff block by Magda Hawashima and Alexis Lusby as they team up for the block. And the Cougars able to get to that one. Watch Magda, she reads it, goes up, and that one just roofed right back to the other side. 21-17, Washington State now. To the right side for Hart on the slide, but the Cougars play it. Now Lusby from the right, and a good one-arm dig by DeLuzio. Alcantara looking for the sideline and finding it. Alyssa Alcantara will pick up the kill and bring the Buffs to within 3. Double checking the number of subs used by Jesse Mahoney as we're wrapping up the second turn through on the rotation, and he's up to 11 subs in this opening set, and Ewart will serve. The set for nobody. Was that for Lusby or for Juliana Dalton? Neither seemed to be thinking it was for them, and so the unforced error means that the Colorado Buffaloes have closed to within a couple again. As things are tight as we wrap up set number 1, Jen Greeny going to use her first time out. Still some time left. We'll see how a tight opening set finishes up as we come back to Bowler Gymnasium in just a bit on Pac-12+. Well, Jenna Ewart, a junior from Antioch, California, has had a good day today. A couple of assists, a couple of kills, and 8 assists. She has been one of the leaders on this Colorado team, who again came into this weekend undefeated. Ewart 4th in the conference in assists per set. She is right there near the top when it comes to some of the other numbers as well. And she again has helped Colorado get back into this one after they were trailing by as many as 6 in the set. They're back within a couple. Pukas for Magda, and she has that one dug out by Clayton. Alcantara with the swing. Now Pukas trying to get to that one, and did, and Lusby gets it over. From the back row, Clayton, there to dive after it goes Timmer. And the set for Lusby, and that one's gonna find the line. Not sure if they intentionally let that one go or they just couldn't get to it, but that ended up finding a line for Lusby. Right between a couple of Buffaloes, and Alcantara maybe thinking DeLuzio was gonna have a shot and a shoeing after it. It would deflect it away from her. It was a tough ball, and Lusby finding the sideline to give the Cougars a 22-19 lead. Starting our 3rd time through the servers on this one, as we haven't had a lot of runs in this opening set. Set to the right for Schneggenberger. They're going to say that one's in. I think after confer with the coaching staff, they agree with the call. Schneggenberger looking for it. Yeah, that one was in. A good kill by Jill Schneggenberger. So 22-20, and the Cougs now up by a couple, and the Buffs once again trying to chip away. Set outside for Pia Timmer. It's blocked back. A good cover, though, by the Cougs, and now knocked over the net by Yahlasheva. Set to the right this time for Parker. Punched up in the air by Tusa, or like that by Pukas, and now Timmer gets it over. Now right back the other way, and Tusa gets to that one. They'll set up Magda Yahlasheva, and they will call the Buffaloes into the net. Megan Hart called for the net violation, and the Cougars get to 23, and Jesse Mahoney going to call another timeout. Well, each team had one remaining. Colorado now down 3, figuring they better use their one here. The Cougs a couple points away, but the Cougs up by 3 late in the opening set in snowy Pullman, Washington today. Well, not only a timeout from Colorado, but we understand there's also a challenge on that net violation. There you see Tusa scrambling. Yahlasheva heading over, and does Megan Hart make contact at the net. I think both her and Clayton both there. And so Margie Ray waiting for the timeout to officially come over. And now we'll head over to talk to Jesse Mahoney. And we're going to have a challenge on the net violation. Margie wants to make sure that Jen Greeny and the Cougars know that a challenge is going to be coming forth here. So that means that the players can head over towards the sideline and confer with their coaches. So again, we'll look and see, and I think Margie got it right. I think that, again, as we took a look at that, you saw both Hart and also Leah Clayton, but I've not been the best on these challenges. But you look at them, both their hands go up, and that top of the head moves, and the thing I can't quite discern is whether or not it was Clayton or Hart, but I don't think it matters. If one of them is in the net, then that would be what the ruling would be, and then if that is the case, it would stay 23-20. Now, I'm trying to go back and remember the finish of that play, whether it was out of bounds or whether it was still in play. If it was in play, then we would have a replay of the point. That is a confirmed call, so the Cougs will get the point, and it was Clayton. She said 22, so Clayton was in the net, not Megan Hart. So that's the ruling here, and that's the other thing on the review is you can go in and take a look at it, and as long as you see that there was something that was an infraction, you can just get the call right. It doesn't have to be whether 21 was in the net, it was whether or not Colorado was in the net. All right, so the Cougs by 3 in the set outside, getting a piece of that one, Timmer, but that one will go down as a kill for Sterling Parker. She was able to get that one just past Pia Timmer. Meanwhile, over on the sidelines, seeing if maybe there's some moisture down there that needs to get toweled up, either some perspiration or maybe some water from one of the breaks. But the important side out to Colorado to give Megan Hart a serve here with the Cougars a 23-21 lead. And here's the set to the right for Lusby. It's down on the ground, and Colorado cannot clear it, so that will set up set point for the Cougars. And it will set it up at 24-21. And into serve will go Julia Norville. So Norville will try and get it done for the Cougars here on the first of what could potentially be 3 set points. They've got 3 to work with here. And the initial serve from Norville, a short one. They will set up to the outside for Clayton. Tusa able to keep it alive. The set will come from McCumber, and Pukas going on the attack, but the Buffaloes trying to keep it alive until double contact ruled on a set from the back row. So the Cougs will take the opening set in Pullman. It was Washington State with a 25-21 lead. Colorado got the first point. The Cougars the next 3, and then from that point on, led it to the wire. And the first set in the books in Pullman. And Washington State goes up 1-0 with a 25-21 victory. We'll be back with set number 2 next on Pac-12+. Well, opening set to Washington State, 25-21. Kalia Williams, part of the 5-headed monster for Washington State in the attacking number. She's got 3 kills. The Cougs led by the 5 kills of Pia Timmer, as again, the Cougs have 5 players with 1.6 or better kills per set. And Kalia also getting it done at the net with a block today, as the Cougars do end up out blocking the Buffaloes 3-2 in that opening set. Colorado, meanwhile, Jenny Ewert, she's got a couple of kills, 10 assists as the setter for the Buffaloes. Also a dig and a block. She will usually put up big numbers in all those categories, so she is an integral part of the offense, as every setter is, but I think she is probably a little bit more with Colorado than some setters are to their team, but she is very active and one of the leaders for this Buffalo team. Cougs hit 263 in that opening set, going 15, 5, and 38. Meanwhile, for the Buffaloes, 12 kills, 7 attacking errors, and 39 swings. They hit 128. Each team had an ace. The Cougars outdigged the Buffaloes 19-5. And again, they outblocked the Buffaloes 3-2 in that opening set. We're the only thing going in the conference today in volleyball. It was a busy day yesterday in the conference, and it included Utah with a win over USC and a sweep, so the Utes still the lone undefeated team in the conference. They're at 7-0. Oregon swept Arizona, so they are now in a tie with not only the Cougars, but also UCLA and Washington for third place in the conference. The UCLA Bruins and the Washington Huskies went 5 yesterday. Here's the set to the middle for Magda Yahalasheva, and the Cougs will get on the board first with the point. And the Cougars will end up with that point to get things started. So it'll be a point for the Cougs, and Magda Yahalasheva at the service line for Washington State. That's going to stay a little bit long, so a service error to even things up at one aside. And it will be Schneggenberger serving now for Colorado. Meanwhile, also, it was Oregon State over Arizona State for a second consecutive day in 5 sets. So a good weekend for the Beavers and a tough weekend for the Sun Devils. Very competitive, but lost in 5 in both of them. As Pia Timmer will get the tip for her 6th kill of this match. Had 5 to lead the way in the opening set for Washington State, and that'll bring in Julia Norville. And Stanford, the defending champs, still looking for their first win of the season. They were beaten in 5 by their rivals, California, yesterday. So the Stanford Cardinal 0-3 to start the season. That's where the Cougars will be next weekend. Clayton with the kill attempt, dug out by Tusa. And now Pukas on the attack, and Washington State again finding some early momentum. They jumped out to what was a 5-2 lead and then expanded it all the way out to an 18-12 lead over Colorado before Colorado came back and made it interesting down the stretch, and the Cougars were able to hold them off 25-21 in that opening set. Clayton going up the line and finding some success with that one. And so Clayton will pick up the kill, and after a slow start for her where she had 4 attacking errors in her first 6 swings, she's been better since. As a matter of fact, she hasn't had an attacking error since and has had 3 kills in 12 swings. Still in negative numbers, but still now with 3 kills instead of the 0 that she had to start things off with. There's an ace from Taylor DePross, who just checked into the service line, and the Southpaw will get a point Colorado's way, and so back-to-back points on each side to even things up at 3 apiece. For the Buffaloes, their second ace of the match. McCumber has the overpass, and that was Farah to put it away for Colorado. So 3 straight points for the Buffs, and their bench trying to urge them on and try and get momentum back onto their side of the net. Could have been a second ace. McCumber just did get to it, but the overpass was easy pickings for Farah in the middle of the net. So a couple of good serves from DePross. And there's another one that McCumber can't play well enough. So 2 aces and an overpass and 3 consecutive serves and points for Taylor DePross, and now the Buffaloes have scored 4 in a row. The Cougars just trying to find out how they want to face off against this DePross serve. She gets ready for yet another one. Here it is. This time Tusa to play it. Now Timmer from the left-hand side. Now Clayton blocked back by the Cougars, and on the line, Hannah Pukas along with Kalia Williams getting DePross off of the service line and a side out to the Cougars. There's Hannah. She was right there at the net and then helped out the official, but now we're going to have a challenge here from Jesse Mahoney. And he's going to challenge whether or not there was a net violation on Washington State on that block from Hannah Pukas and Kalia Williams. So not that it was in or out. We saw Hannah point to the line, signifying certainly in her eyes it was in, but that's not what's being challenged. She wants to see whether or not either Hannah or Kalia go into the net. So the set comes outside for Clayton. The 2 Cougs go up, and you got Kalia Williams right there, and then right at the very end did that right hand from Pukas go in, and is that enough to overturn it? So we will see what Margie Ray looks at here. But looked pretty good at the net as far as at the top. Was there anything at the bottom of the net at the end of it, I think, is going to be the question here. So another angle here for you. Again, Clayton goes up. Everything looks good at the top, but at the end is that net move with Hannah Pukas' right hand in it, and is that enough to overturn it? So we will see as Margie Ray takes a look at it from another angle or 2. So again, I think again at the top, I don't see anything there from either Kalia or Hannah. It's just at the tail end of it. Was that enough for the net violation to take place? And if so, then obviously it would be another point Colorado's way, and they would expand their lead out to 6-3. If not, it stays where we're at, and that's 5-4. One more look at it here. Again, going up, then coming down. And then again, almost in a celebration mode was Hannah Pukas. So was the play over, or was that all part of the play? And I would have to go back and take a look at the rulebook definition. I just haven't done that recently, and I'm not 100% sure how that is interpreted. And I guess this is a good one for a veteran official to look at, so that way we can have some maybe clarity along the way at a later point in time. But at least that's the way I'm seeing it, and we will see again whether or not we get a challenge upheld or a challenge that ends up being reversed. Cougs ranked 22nd in the country coming in after their split with UCLA, one of 5 teams in the Pac-12 conference in the top 25. Call is going to stand, and a point goes to Washington State. So Margie Ray will talk to Jesse Mahoney about it, and again, the point going to Washington State. Can understand the challenge, because I think at the tail end of that play you did see the net move, but again, I think that the play was more or less over at that point in time. And my guess is that once that ball hits the ground is when the play is terminated. And so did that happen before there was any contact at the net? In any case, it's a Cougar point on the block, and they get back within 1. All right, the set this time to the middle, and that'll be a kill for Sterling Parker, who will pick up her 3rd. Buffaloes with their 3rd kill of this second set as they go to the middle, and nobody home, as that was pretty open there in the back row past the lunging Kia Timmer, and now it'll be Luget to serve. This time for Clea Williams in the middle, and that's too much for DeLuzio to handle. And the kill to Washington State gives them a point on the side out. It's now 6-5. Magda in to play the front row. Clea Williams back to serve now for Washington State, as she waits for the call from the coaching staff on where they would like it. Clea up to 4 kills. She's right behind Timmer, who's got a half a dozen for Washington State. Farah, a good dig that time by Norval, and Dalton lines one up. Off the deflection, Colorado can't play it, and Juliana Dalton, who got going in the middle portion and later in the match yesterday to get to double digits. Now picking up her 2nd kill for the Cougars here in this match, as again Colorado can't scramble to keep it alive, and the Cougars have come back to force our 3rd tie of the second set at 6 apiece. Short serve outside for Clayton, and that time the Cougars can't control the block, and Clayton will get the kill to give the Colorado Buffaloes the lead once more. Mentioned the Cougars will go and take on Stanford. We'll see what Stanford does tomorrow against Cal, whether they will still be looking for their first win of the season when the Cougars take them on. Meanwhile, it's going to be another tough test for the Buffaloes next weekend. They will take on the Washington Huskies. The good news is they'll get to do so in the Rockies in the high elevation of the CU Events Center. Juliana Dalton, again, a kill for Washington State. And sometimes, again, and there is a delicate line here for Hannah Pukas and the Cougars. When you get a player that gets a back-to-back kill like Juliana does that mean you keep feeding her? She found her rhythm, or do you keep spreading it out? And again, there's a fine line between going to who's hot and also making sure you spread things out to keep the defense off guard. Meanwhile, speaking of keeping the defense off guard, the quick hitter from Ewert on the dump over the net. And another kill for the Colorado setter, as she is doing that in part to finish off the point quickly, and also in part to try and keep the block a little less active for the Cougars. Now it's Yahalasheva. DeLuzio passes into the net, and Colorado can't scoop it out of there, so side out. And after the Cougars came back to tie things up at 7 apiece, and also at 6 apiece, excuse me, we've gone really side out for side out since then. It's now 8 aside. So tie number 5 of this opening set. And we'll see if Penny Tusa can break the side out game here and get a point off her serve. She will. That's an ace. So Tusa, who again earlier this weekend moved into the top 10 in career aces for Washington State, keeps her good service game going. She'll rack up another ace, and for Penny Tusa, it's a team-leading 13th ace on the year, and what does the Cougars just make an 8th match of the year? Service error that time, so now we're tied again, but this time it's the Buffaloes who get the side out to tie things up. And so now 9 aside as we're level in set number 2. Ewert now to serve for Colorado. Ewert with the serve across, set to the right side for Magda Yahalashwa on a cross-court kill. The Cougars now up by 10-9 counts. Well, again, Bowler Gymnasium, first road trip for Colorado this season. As you see, a nice kill from the slide from Magda Yahalashwa. She slid over to the right side of the net on that one to pick up her 3rd kill. The first road trip of the year for Colorado. Here comes the set to the middle for Parker, and she will get the kill herself, and we're now even at 10 apiece. Cougs for a 2nd straight weekend playing here at Bowler Gymnasium. Parker has gotten a couple there in the middle in recent points here in the 2nd set. Now another serve, that's off of Timmer and out of play, an ace for the Buffaloes, and they will seesaw back in front to make it 11-10. Of course, the noise you're hearing from downstairs, the players on the sidelines, is you have to create your own atmosphere with the cardboard cutouts here. They're not talking a whole lot. Here's the set for Kalia Williams, who puts it away for Washington State. They're having a lot of quick points as we're seeing some attacking that's just been too much for the Diggers to try and keep alive, and it's been going back and forth from each side to the other, and Kalia Williams the latest to pick up a kill. She is now up to 5 herself for Washington State. And we're deadlocked again, this time at 11 apiece. So 8 ties and 3 lead changes. We're not even to the midway point of set number 2. There's an attacking error from Megan Hart, so the Cougars will move back in front at 12-11. Looked like that one just a little miss hit, as she didn't get any downwards motion on that. It was more of a line drive that kept sailing out of bounds. DeLuzio did get the pass away, and now it'll be an attempt from the Buffaloes. Cougs will have Penny Timmer from the back row. There was no touch ruled, so the attacking error will deadlock us again, this time at 12 apiece. And DePross, who had the good set of serves the last time she was in, will check back in again for the Buffaloes and head to the service line. Had a couple of aces, and the other point that she picked up off her serve was an overpass that Farrow was able to put away in the middle of the net. This time her serve will be handled by Norval. It will be Timmer setting up for Kalia Williams. The process to dive after that one. The pass over the net there to try and put it away Pukas, but Colorado able to dig it out. And back to the Washington State side. Now Timmer, but Schneggenberger able to answer. Now the block attempt not good enough as Leah Clayton gets the kill for Colorado. So again, back and forth we go. After going side out for side out, it's now been points coming in pairs. 2 aside for Colorado to give them an 11-10 lead, then 2 for the Cougars to make it 12-11 Washington State, and now 3 straight from the Buffaloes to give them the lead back. Here comes the set outside for a Timmer tip. And there's the attempt from Clayton, but a good dig by McCumber, and Penny Tusa from the back to tip it over. Ewert keeps it alive, but only momentarily. That one was down. The corner linesman saying it was on the ground, and I think it was. Jen Graney making sure that everybody else knew it was down. The officials were still playing. I think it was down. I thought I saw it hit the floor, but we'll see either if Jesse Mahoney challenges, and it looks like he will. They will indeed challenge whether or not. I think Jesse first wants to find out which of the officials called it. If he saw Ben Goodwin up in the chair call it, I think he might have held off on the challenge, but since it was the corner linesman who made the call, he's going to go ahead and challenge. And with that, we will go ahead and see. Meanwhile, the officials communicating with one another as they are doing that. Now Margie Ray will go take a look. So there's the ball, and then is that pancaked up or does it hit the floor? That's tough to tell because there's so many bodies clumped together in there for the Colorado Buffaloes. But again, that's the other problem for Jesse Mahoney, is they're going to have a good enough angle to overturn this one since it was called down. So let's see if we can get an angle from the net. Here we are. That's obviously up there, but then does that get pancaked up? And the problem is Leah Clayton is kind of in the way, obscuring the view of that. And that was closer to me having a little bit more of a thought that Colorado could have gotten there. But again, on each of those looks, we saw some Colorado players in there. You know, some line dancing being done by the front row of the Cougars over in the corner, filling their time throughout the bit of time we've got for the review. Margie Ray again going to take another look at it, wants one more angle on it to see if she can find something. I'm just not sure that we've seen anything yet that would overturn it. But has Margie gotten a different look, and a look that's not obscured by any Buffaloes, and that is the problem in there. And that may also be Jesse Mahoney's gripe too, with as many players as is in there. How could the corner linesman call it on the ground? But I thought that again, it looked like a bounce. And here we go, one more look, and that's coming down to the ground. Again, Clayton goes in front. And right there at the very tail end of it, you see the ball, but does that hit the hand of the player, or does it hit the court? It was a very good attempt to pancake, and again, I think for Colorado, they're just also wondering with that many bodies around there, how was it ruled down? And it's one of those plays where I don't know if you should do it this way, but I think common sense would say that you would, and the call is going to stand here, and it'll be a point to Washington State. So Margie Ray going over to talk to Jesse Mahoney, and she may be saying, and I'm just guessing here with some of her gestures down there, that she might not have had a clear look, and there's nothing there that she can overturn it with because there's bodies in the way. And again, I can't tell you with certainty that that ball wasn't pancaked up and that it did hit the floor, but I don't think we saw anything in those replays with the amount of bodies that were around there that would tell you that they've kept it off of the floor for sure either. And so I think you have to go with the original call. And so with that, the Cougars get the point. We're even once again, even for how about a 10th time out of 13 points here in set number 2. Deluzio off the serve receive, setting up for Farah. That one dug out by Norville, but across the net and out of bounds. So the lead back to Colorado at 14-13. Again, an opening set to Washington State if you're just joining us. 25-21 to give them a 1-0 lead in this match. And right now, Colorado trying to even up the match. A 1-point lead just past the midway point of set number 2. Here comes the set for Juliana Dalton. Now attack from the setter Ewart, but the Cougars there this time reading the attack. Was that Kalia Williams? I think it was who read the Ewart attack and went up for the block for Washington State. And with that, a 14-all tie for the Cougs as they've put another point on the board for 11th time. That'll be both Juliana Dalton and Kalia Williams credited for that block. Here's the set outside for Clayton. Good dig, and it's an overpass from Norville. So Clayton one more time, again looking to go up the line, but touched at the net that time on the block attempt from the Cougars. So a side out to Colorado, making it 15-14. Saw this a bit of the ways, although there was more than a 1-point difference. The Cougars were up by 2-3, and we go back and forth until the Cougs had a little 4-point run to open up some space. This one, again, not a lot of space on either side, and that one's going to end up long, but touched at the net by Colorado. So Another point to Washington State. Obviously, if you're tied from 6 on, it means nobody's taken a 2-point lead, so it's been within one all the way since it was at one stage a 6-4 Colorado lead, and we've now had 12 ties to get us to 15 apiece. Set to the right for Farah, and she'll get the side out for Colorado on a good, efficient kill. Farah from the right side is the opposite hitter, picking up her third kill of the match, and she'll check out as that'll send DeLuzio to the service line. We'll bring Megan Hart back in to play the net. Pukas this time to the middle. Juliana Dalton, but a good dig by Clayton. And now Alcantara with the swing, blocked back by the Cougars, but we're going to have not a block. So a point to Washington State as they say that was into the net and then touched again by Colorado, so 4 contacts. So 16 apiece. Will there be any breathing room for either of these two teams? Ultimately, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to have to lead by 2 because you can't win until you do in this sport. And now Tusa at the service line. Oh, good serve. It's an overpass. Cougars couldn't jump on it, so they'll play it on their side. And Timmer going to try and put it away, and that is off of a Colorado Buffalo before it caroms out. And the point to Washington State for Pia Timmer. 17-16, and after what was 5 kills in the opening set, Pia Timmer with 3 more here in set number 2, up to 8 on the day. Here comes the set now for Schnegenberger. Popped up into the air by Pukas. That means McCumber will set, but it's not a good one, unfortunately. And that'll be a side out back to Colorado. And that means we're now at 17 apiece. My goodness. Again, just no breathing room for either of these two teams here. Looks like it's been 6 lead changes, 14 ties, and again, the set just drifting outside the antenna, and Lusby couldn't clear it without hitting the antenna. That one just a little bit long on a service error. And another point to Washington State, so it's now 18-17, and starting to get to the stage again where substitutions may become a factor. You're only allowed a certain number, and we're into the 3rd set of rotation for the servers again. Set to the outside for Schnegenberger. Pukas has to play it. Now to the outside for Alexis Lusby, who resets and finds a tip ball in over on the sideline. And now the Cougars do have a 2-point lead. So that means for the first time since it was 6-4 Colorado, we won't have a tie on successive points. And the Cougars now up by a couple at 19-17. The set this time for Parker in the middle, dug out by Pukas. Magda will set for Pia Timmer, block back. Now Magda again setting to the right side, this time for Lusby, who goes up the line, and it's a point for Washington State. And the Cougars at the tail end of this set starting to find a little bit of breathing room. Jesse Mahoney gonna call timeout. You know, Jesse Mahoney also telling to the up referee, thought maybe a couple of double contacts on those sets. 20-17 though, Washington State in set number 2 after taking the first here at Buller Gym. Again, Stanford 0-3 to start the season, the defending champs. All right, there's the set to the outside for Parker this time. Tusa with the pass right at the net, and just tipping it over is going to be Penny Tusa. You know, Jesse Mahoney, who is on a number of occasions been unhappy with the officials, thought that was something that should have been called on Hannah Pukas, either as perhaps a back row player or maybe a lift he was calling for, but it was not called either, and the Cougs will get the point. They've now scored 4 in a row and lead at 21-17. Nice short serve by Magda Yahalasheva, the ace, and the Cougars have scored 5 in a row in Pullman. Well, set that had 14 ties, and we were last tied at 17 apiece, but the Cougs have scored 5 in a row and are looking to try and take a 2-set lead over Colorado at Buller Gym today. Good serve by Magdalena Hoshva on a short one for the ace to take us to 22-17. Well, the Pac-12 and National Freshman of the Year last year, Magdalena Hoshva having a pretty good sophomore season as well. And how about what she's done in this one? 6 kills for the Cougars to go along with a couple of aces. And they're aces that mean just a little bit more. Her last one would be one of those to give the Cougars now a 5-point lead here at 22-17. Here's the set outside for Parker, and she will put that one away. And a much-needed side out for the Buffaloes on a kill from Sterling Parker, and that'll bring the Buffs to within 4 now, 22-18. Tusa just not quite able to get in position for that one, so Schneggenberger to serve now for the Buffaloes, and now they need to go on a run to get back into this. Here's the set for Lusby, and it won't be with this server at the line because it's an immediate side out on an Alexis Lusby killed. 23-18, Washington State now by 5 as Lusby being congratulated by her teammates on the sideline as she is checked out, and Norville will go to the service line. Julia, sophomore out of California. Here's her serve. Schneggenberger plays it. Clayton going up, and that one going to be ruled just a little bit long, and then attacking air will take us to set point. Well, after all those ties and lead changes early on, 14 ties and 6 lead changes, the Cougs have opened up things here. They have scored 7 of the last 8. And they lead at 24-18 as they try to take a 2-0 lead. Set to the outside for Leah Clayton. That one caroms off the net and ends up out of bounds. And the Cougs score 8. Well, make it 7. No, make it 8. I'm right. The Cougs score 8 of the last 9. And they take set number 2. It was the opening set to Washington State, 25-21. They take the second set, 25-18. They got it done with blocking. They got it done with attacking. And they also got it done with some very good play on the other side of things, which does include the Cougs and the Buffaloes who went back and forth. And obviously the Cougars, again, the better team at the end of it. Again, the Cougs up 2-0. We'll come back with set number 3 from Pullman, Washington after this. Pia Timmer has once again put together a solid effort, led the Cougars with 5 kills in the opening set, has added 3 more, is always a threat to have a double-double, and you can see she's closing in on one today with 8 kills and 6 digs. And how about her efficiency today, too, hitting .389 for the Cougars. 8 kills, only 1 attacking error in what's been 18 swings for the sophomore out of Germany. All right, we get ready for set number 3, and we're in the same spot we were last night, or I should say Thursday. And in that Thursday matchup, the Cougars had won the opening 2 to see Colorado come back and win the 3rd and force a 4th. Colorado going to try and use that same script at least through 3 sets today. Well, the Cougars trying to finish off their weekend and pick up a couple of wins over a very good Colorado team. All right, it'll be Penny Tusa at the service line for the Cougars to get set number 3 underway. Again, team staying on their same sides of the net for everything this year. It's a kill from Megan Hart to get the 3rd set underway. The other thing you may notice if you're a longtime viewer or perhaps a person that came to the volleyball matches, you usually got that 10-minute break between sets 2 and 3. That's not happening this year. Just another quick 3-minute in between sets break and right back to it. The other thing that'll be interesting to see as we continue on with different schedules, different protocols when it comes to even just the way things are doing in 2020 and 2021. Are there going to be things that we do different that are actually going to be something you want to keep? Do you want to keep it at just 3 minutes from this point forward? Do you need to change sides of the net? And again, when we are in a post-pandemic world, it'll be interesting to see if any of these rule changes at some of these sports, including this one, if they stick around or not. Here comes the set to the right side, and just able to get that one across is Lusby, but that's going to be a lift called. And Colorado, again, much like they did in the match on Thursday, getting the upper hand early in set number 3. And you wonder, is it, and it's probably a little bit of column A and column B here. It's just human nature sometimes, even though the elite teams try not to do it very often, to let off the gas a little bit when you get a comfortable lead. There's a tip from Yahalashva, but there to play it, Colorado. Sterling Parker has an attempt blocked back. Now on the other side of the net, it's an attempt that time from Clayton that Pukas digs out, and the Cougars will clear. Now to the middle for Farah, blocked back by Magda Yahalasheva, so she will get the solo block as she went one-on-one with Farah, and she wins that battle. Meanwhile, they will allow DeLuzio to come back in with the sub on the Colorado side. Now Magda back to the service line. And then on the flip side of things, we talked about the human nature of maybe letting your foot off the gas pedal. When your back's against the wall, sometimes you find a different level, and Colorado may be doing that as well, both Thursday and Saturday. And again, the challenge for all the coaches and athletes in sports is to try and keep that elite level from start to finish of every game, match, or whatever you're competing in. But you also know how dang difficult that can be from time to time because we all are human. All right, here's Luget's serve. There to play it is Timmer. That one dumped across the net nicely by Hannah Pukas, so she had a little bit of trickery. Her go-to move on that is the little flip over the shoulder, and that time was able to disguise it a little bit better and just go straight to the other side and just a little touch, and that was nice. So a good job by Hannah Pukas catching the Buffs a little off guard, and that will send Norval to the service line. Here comes the dump attempt by Ewert, and that one a point back to the Colorado setter. So Jenny Ewert seeing Hannah Pukas get a point for her team on the attack, says I can do that too. And so with that, a point to the Buffs, and it'll be Leah Clayton serving with the Buffaloes up 5-2 early in set number 3. The serve will be played by Norval. Now from the back row, sent over softly by Tusa. Back to the right for Farah. Gets the attack through the block and down, so Farah the kill. And with that, her 4th of the day, and it's now 6-2 Colorado. So a 4-point advantage for the Buffaloes early in set number 3. Cougars over the Buffaloes in 4 on Thursday to give the Buffs their first loss of the season, as that serve well out of bounds for a service here. Colorado opening up the season with 4 straight at home. They were supposed to have a couple of games with Stanford in there that got canceled. That's why they came into this week with just 4 matches played, and the Cougars at 6. Here's the serve now from Pia Timmer. Colorado will get it to Alcantara, but dug out by McCumber. And now Juliana Dalton with the swing. It's off the shoulder that time of Clayton, and a kill for Juliana Dalton. But a pair of wins over Oregon State and then 2 more over Cal. Now they've kind of got the gauntlet to run through, does Jesse Mahoney. 2 here in Pullman, 2 against the Huskies next weekend. Then they have to go to Eugene to take on the Ducks, and then 2 at home against UCLA. But then again, let's be quite honest. You can look at just about any team in this conference and look at their next 4 weeks, and they're probably going through at least some kind of gauntlet no matter who you're playing. Here's Timmer's serve. That's a good one, but it's punched over by Ewert after the low pass to her. And now Dalton has that one blocked back as Ewert goes up to get it along with Fair. So a side out on the block for Colorado, as they had a couple in the opening set, and they get their first one right there of set number 3 for their 3rd of the match. The Cougs have picked up 6 blocks so far. And here is a DeLuzio serve right to the net, and a joust won by Megan Hart. Well, not a whole lot Hannah Pukas could do with that, and it ends up being a point for Colorado as the joust won by the Buffaloes, and Colorado needing a win in this set to keep things going in Pullman this afternoon. And they're off to a good start. It's 8-4 Colorado early in 3rd set action from Pullman today. Well, they do top 25 poll coming out on Monday. See at the top, Wisconsin, of course, out of the Big Ten. The Cougs made a trip to Madison not too long ago for an NCAA tournament match. Texas, Kentucky, Nebraska, and Minnesota making up the top 5. But how about that? 2 teams in the top 10 in the conference. 7th-ranked Utah and 10th-ranked Washington State. And 3 more also in the top 25, including these 22nd-ranked Washington State University Cougars. You see UCLA, who the Cougs played last week, and we'll see if Stanford drops more or maybe even exits the top 25. That may also depend on what they do tomorrow against California, but off to an 0-3 start this season. There's Timmer, and that's going to be dug out across the net. Dalton will play it as it's too close to let it bounce, and will try and pick up the kill, and will. A good scramble, but the last attempt from Luge was outside of the intent, and the Cougars get a point out of the timeout. Well, I mean, we were talking about going through the gauntlet, and you just saw all 5 of those conference teams in the top 25. There's also 5 teams in the conference receiving votes in the top 25 that aren't in the pool. Kalia Williams with the serve, set to the right for Hart, and that one blocked down by Juliana Dalton. So Dalton, the freshman from Parker, Colorado, a kill out of the timeout, and then a solo block to follow that, and what a good block that was. So back-to-back points for the Cougars, and they're within 2 now at 8-6. And Kalia Williams to serve again. And that is going to be Alcantara's attempt. That will carol off a Cougar and fall in play, and a point to Colorado. But again, when you've got 10 of your 12 teams in the conference, either a top 25 team or receiving votes in the top 25, it's rough going. It's tough sledding every night out. And Colorado, one of those 5 teams receiving votes in the top 25 this last week. There's a kill attempt by the Cougars, and the Buffaloes, although scramble, can't get it across. Utah playing really well. They're off to a 7-0 start. The Cougs will have to go to Salt Lake City in the next to last weekend of the season. Again, with Stanford struggles, does that mean it's a wide open conference race to see who can win the regular season title? And I certainly wouldn't count Stanford out yet, but again, they've had some practice issues with Santa Clara County and playing at Maples Pavilion, and some players that have had to clear protocol, and just being healthy enough to field a full team to get out there and compete and have enough practices to get out there and compete. It's been a tough start to the season for them, just with what they've had to deal with in the pandemic. And my guess is, with the great coach they have and the great athletes that they recruit, they're going to be a factor before the season is over. Meanwhile, a net violation on Colorado, and so the point goes to Washington State. And so we head back to our initial server, and that is Penny Tusa. Colorado jumped out to an 8-4 lead, but the Cougs have scored 4 of the last 6 and are within a couple here. Meanwhile, Tusa getting some instruction from Burdette Creaney, the associate head coach, who returns to a seat on this serve. Here's the set to the right, this time for Parker. Cougars trying to keep it alive off the deflection off the block attempt, but cannot. And Sterling Parker, who's had a pretty good afternoon for Colorado, is up now to 7 kills, and that makes it now 11-8 Colorado. Parker, 7 kills, 1 attacking error, and 12 swings so far for the Colorado Buffaloes. A young lady out of Martinez, California. Softball for the Buffaloes. Pukas to the outside for Timmer. Now the Buffs will counter with Clayton, but dug out by Pukas. And Kia Timmer goes cross court. Mention the 7 kills for Sterling Parker as she leads the Buffaloes. There's the leading attacker for Washington State, adding another number. Make it now 9 kills for her on the day. And she's hitting .381. And it will be Magda, who is right behind Pia with 8 kills herself, back to the service line. Magda also with a couple of aces today. Short serve that hits the net, elbowed up, and then a free ball for Washington State. Tusa to Pukas for Lusby, but a block down, covered by Washington State. Jesse Mahoney wanted to lift, but didn't get one. And now Parker from the right side, and that's going to miss just a little bit long. Jesse Mahoney saying that should have been a lift. He has, on occasion, not been happy with some of the calls today, and that, of course, as any coach, as you always have your own viewpoint, but may have had a valid discussion there as to whether or not a lift should have been called in that play. Here comes the call to the right for Farah, and Farah's going to pick up the kill. One thing I've noticed with Jesse in the games that I've called for Washington State on the radio when we played the Buffaloes is he is usually pretty acute and aware of what's going on out there. And there's not many times, and it's a little different when I'm down courtside than where I'm out upstairs here when it comes to angles, but I usually buy a lot of what he's selling when he's talking to the officials. Cougs trying to get this one across and cannot. So a point going to the Buffaloes, and it's now 13-10. Colorado again has got this tough stretch of the schedule, and sometimes the key things in this conference is, can you survive tough stretches? Can you go 3-3 during a 6-match stretch? Kalia Williams on the right side with the punishing attack. That one is going to be Ewert trying to put it away, and that's off the Cougs and out of bounds on the overpass, and it's now 14-10. And can you avoid sweeps? That's what Colorado is trying to do here. And on the flip side, if you want to live in the top 3 or top 4 or have a chance to chase down a conference title, then you've got to finish these off if you're at home and win a couple in sweeping fashion. Here's the set outside for Pia Timmer. Tipped at the net. Schneckenberger gets to it. Outside for Clayton, and a block down by Alexis Lusby and Kalia Williams. So Lusby and Kalia Williams getting to that one. Coming right to your bottom of the screen, and that was blocked back that time by Lusby and Kalia to make it 14-11. Cougs up 2-0, trying to sweep an opponent for the first time this season. Bounces off the net and clears on the Norville serve, and Clayton goes up the line. Norville able to get a piece, and Timmer will set and get a point for Washington State. So 14-12, and Pia now to double digits. The first athlete of the day to get to 10 kills, and she's leading the way, hitting .320 with her 10 kills and 25 swings and only 2 attacking errors. Meanwhile, Norville's had a good day on defense. 8 digs for her this afternoon. Set to the outside for Leah Clayton. Block back. Now Clayton another swing. Tusa got a hand on it, and this time putting it away is going to be Leah Clayton in the middle of the net. So the point back to Colorado. They'll get a side out, making it now 15-12. Cougs kept it alive a couple of times, but Clayton had enough of it and puts it away with an emphatic swing. And now she will serve for the Buffs. Pukas to the outside for Kalia Williams. Dug out that time by DeLuzio. Alcantara has that one blocked back. It's off the head of Buffalo and across the net. And then Pukas puts it away. It looked like it almost went off the cheek. Maybe he caught a piece of the shoulder too on the first swing. There you see that off of Clayton. And then off the deflection, it was wide open in the back, and Hannah Pukas puts it away for the kill. 15-13 now as the Cougs have closed to within 2 again. And Colorado opening up the lead, and now the Cougars are chipping away at it after the first time out from Jen Greeny. Norville keeps that one alive, sets the outside for Juliana Dalton. Now from the back row, Clayton has that one go into the net. So the attacking error gives Washington State another point. And now the Cougars within 1. Number was 8-4 when Jen Greeny called the timeout. They've gone on what is now a 10-7 run to get back within 1. And a chance to be there for the first time since it was a tie early on, and we're tied now. It's now going to be a 15-all tie. Colorado scored the first 3 points, and we had not been even until right now. 3 straight from the Cougars, and they get there on an ace from Pia Timmer. Oh yeah, all she's done today is pick up 10 kills to lead the way as well. Cougars up 2-0, and now we're even, on even terms at 15 apiece in set number 3, thanks to a bounce off the net and falling in from Pia Timmer. Well, Pia Timmer has led the Cougars this season at just under 3 kills per set. She has just gone over 100 kills on the season and 10 so far today. Also has 6 digs, hitting .320. With her 10 kills today, now has 102 kills in the 8 matches played by Washington State. And is not quite to that number, but not too far away in the dig department. 84 digs for her. So again, she is just about good for a double-double on a nightly basis for you in this conference. That's pretty impressive, the sophomore from Germany. Her ace has evened things up, and she's back to the service line. Now Farah getting the serve back for Colorado on the slide and a cross-court kill. So 16-15, the Buffaloes move out by a point, and Rachel Farah getting set up on the right side of the sticks and goes cross-court to get the point for the Buffaloes. Pukas to Kalia Williams now on the left side. Her tip, block back, and then lob back over by Kalia. Now from the back row, Clayton. Normal there for the pass, and it will be from the back row, Pia Timmer lunging forward for her 11th kill. So 16 aside as Pia Timmer now with 11 kills, and we were talking about Julia Normal earlier. She's just picked up her 10th dig. So she's the first digger to get to double digits. Pukas not far behind. She's got 9 digs as well for the Cougars defensively. Set to the outside for Schneggenberger this time, and it's a good dig by Kalia Williams. Now Timmer one more time from the back, and that's going to go off of Buffalo and out of bounds. Caught a finger going through, and the Cougars now with a lead for the first time in this third set. Again, fell behind 3-0. We're down 6-2 and 8-4 before they started to chip away. Got even at 15 apiece, at 16 apiece, and now their first lead. To the outside for Schneggenberger. That one hits the antenna and an attacking air. And the Cougs have now scored 6 of the last 7 points, and they've scored 8 of the last 10. As that one from Schneggenberger, you see, bangs the antenna. And on the attacking air, a 2-point lead now for Washington State. Here's the serve. That's a good one, but a good pass by DeLuzio. Schneggenberger this time again. Kalia Williams there to pick it up defensively, and the tip from Magda Yahalasheva finds its way to the court. Now the Cougs rolling once again. They took care of business in the opening 2 sets. Had to come from behind in set number 3, but make it 4 in a row. 7 of the last 8 and 9 of the last 11. Magda Yahalasheva with a tip. There was a good job by the Cougars to take a 19-16 lead, and a good touch by Magda to take us into the break. Good luck to Kyle Smith and the crew. Isaac Bonton, 26 in that victory over the Bruins on Thursday. Schneggenberger has that one blocked back. The wall set up. Hannah Pukas and Magda Yahalasheva. 5 consecutive points for the Cougars, and it's 20-16. The Cougs, after falling behind in set 4 on Thursday, had 6 in a row to win it, and now are once again coming alive at this time in set 3 for a potential come-from-behind victory. From the right side, Megan Hart, dug out by Norval. It's at the net. There's a joust, and it comes to the Colorado side, and the sophomore Hannah Pukas winning the joust at the net. 6 consecutive points to the Cougars. And again, right at the net, Hannah wins it, and the Cougs are up now by 5. And again, Kalia Williams looking to continue her good serving. To the back row for Clayton, dug out, but that'll end up out of play, and a point to Colorado and a kill for Leah Clayton. Again, Leah got off to a slow start after leading the way with 13 kills in Thursday's match. still in negative numbers, but she is now up to 8 kills and leads the way for the Buffaloes today offensively. And Ewert will serve to the middle for Magda, and Yahalasheva continuing her good all-around play. Couple of aces make it now a 10th kill to join Pia Timmer in double digits in the kill department, and also 4 blocks on the day for the sophomore out of the Czech Republic. 22-17 Washington State as they're up by 5. Pukas serves. Now to the middle, tipped across, pancaked up by Pukas, lobbed up into the air by Magden, sent over by Washington State. Now Hart has it hit the net. The Cougars this time can't clear the net. And a side out back over to Colorado. So 22-18 now. And at the service line will be Jill Schneggenberger for the Buffaloes. Cougs has a chance to move past UCLA in the standings with a win today. There's a set to the right, and that time Juliana Dalton goes cross court for the kill. Cougars also trying to do something today that they have not done this season, and that is win a match in straight sets. They haven't played a straight sets match in either a win or a loss this year. They've all gone either 4 or 5, but they got a chance for the sweep here today, and they're up 23-18 in set number 3. Tusa serve. Here comes the set to the middle, and that time getting it through is going to be Megan Hart, and so the Buffaloes get a point back to make it 23-19. As Megan got the assist from Ewert and got it through the block attempt that time of Yahalasheva. Now Megan's at the service line. Her serve will be played by Timmer. Set this time for Alexis Lusby as it deflects off the Buffaloes and falls on their side. And now 5 match points for Washington State. The Cougars, at least for a 24-hour period, a chance to move into sole possession of second place with 1 more point. 7-0 Utah, the Cougars would fit in second behind them at 6-2 and ahead of everybody else. And it will be done. An ace from Magda Yahalasheva. Her 3rd of the match. And the Cougars get it done. 3-0. And for the first time in 2021, it's a sweep for Washington State in 3 straight as they take care of the Buffaloes. 25-21, 25-18, and 25-19. And the Cougars move to what is 6-2 on the season. Colorado drops to 4-2, and the Cougars do indeed have sole possession for the day as second place. Oregon, UCLA, and Washington, all with action tomorrow and sitting at 5-2, can join the Cougars. But we now know that the Cougars, when we head to Stanford, will be tied for second in the conference or will have it to themselves outright, as again the Cougars get it done here in Pullman today. Back and forth, competitive, especially in the opening couple of sets, and then it was the same here as Colorado opened up with the big lead, but then the Cougars got things going. They were able to win jousts at the net. They were able to find players like Magda Yahalasheva, who finished in double digits in kills, and Pia Timmer, who also finished double digits in kills. Pia finishes with 12. Yahalasheva had 10. Meanwhile, the Buffaloes did not have a single player in double digits today. Washington State with the win. They'll take on the defending champs next week. The Cougars with their first sweep of the season, now 6-2 in Pac-12 volleyball. That'll do it for us on Pac-12 Plus.